know you can look me in the eye. It's all because of Jesus, he the reason I'm alive. I live by faith, by grace, you know that I ain't gotta strive. They told me, tone it down.
Yo, what up, guys?
Yo.
I don't have any names.
He's Ryan. I'm Jared. Welcome to the Boat Parade. This is another Meet the Boys.
Meet the boys, making all the noise, meet the boys, It's going to get a little longer every time, and then eventually it'll be like a whole performance. We'll have lights and fireworks. Meet the boys. You'll see Snoop Dogg come out, and he'll be that.
Have you seen the thing with him and Kevin Hart doing the Olympics, and he's talking about the horse dancing? Bro, I'll show you later. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. It's hilarious. Welcome to Meet the Boys. Today we're talking about Cade Otton.
That is such a cool name.
I like it. On a scale from 1 to 10, what is that name?
It's
1,
high.
2, 3, go.
9.2. Dang, 9.
That's like a good football name.
I mean, Cade Otton could be a character in like a Gladiator reprise, and it's like, but the guy, he's like, "What's your name?" I'm Cade.
I think it's because I know several Cades, and they're all just really cool people.
Bro, my high school quarterback's name was Cade.
Oh my gosh, we're talking about Meet the Boys. We're talking about Cade Otton. So Cade,
what up, Cade?
He was the very first pick in the 4th round of the draft this year.
It was a huge steal, bro.
He was a huge steal because he's a lot better than his stats show, and he was battled injuries towards the end of last year. He had a bad ankle injury that he had to have surgery on. But this dude has quite a story. He has the accolades, and I think he's going to be a huge integral part of the Bucs.
Yeah,
especially because of the tight end situation. Because currently on the roster, I think we have like Cameron Brate and Cade Otton, and then the other guy they drafted as well that we're going to get to later. That's why we're not mentioning his name, because he'll have another Meet the Boys.
Yeah, you'll meet him at the different video, so we're not even going to say his name.
So because of the situation with Gronkowski, and nobody knows what he's going to do tomorrow because he's a party animal throwing concerts in Las Vegas. Did I?
Nobody knows what he's going to do tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow's the day.
Tomorrow could be the day.
He comes out on Twitter tomorrow and is like, all he says,
I'm back.
No, he just puts a football, and then nobody knows. And then a week later,
that's what he's been doing the whole offseason.
He'll put a T, and then another week later an A, and then another week later an M, and then a P and an A, and then we'll know in 5 weeks he's coming to Tampa.
That sounds like something that he would do.
He loves boat parades too much to not join this Super Bowl team. But Cade.
So some people have said through my research that, like in his draft report, that Cade Otton's incredible, but all of his quarterbacks that he ever played with at Washington were kind of booty. So
trash quarterback.
So the numbers don't necessarily show it, but the dude's a physical specimen. He's 6'5", 247, and he's like fast.
And that name matches that build, doesn't it?
Cade Otton.
Like when you think of Cade Otton, he's 6'5", 240. He's like, yeah.
I'm excited for him to run some routes because he said in an interview that he's excited that the Bucs really utilize the tight end.
Right.
And like you could line up at wideout technically and run wide receiver routes and not just be a tight end chipping and then doing a little banana route or a little.
Can you imagine?
Y over, and then that's what his route is, and there's that. But no, you get to be a skill player, and that's every big man's dream is to be a skill player.
I was gonna say, it's like, gosh, can you imagine the change for anybody on defense is like the guy you were just going against is 180 pounds, 185 pounds. Now the dude caught the balls coming at you is 240 and he's 6'5", and he's excited to play his first year in the big league. So you're gonna get smashed on. You know what I mean? Like,
I can't wait to see it. So let's get into a little bit of Cade's life. So he attended Tumwater High School in Washington, which is like, if you know about Washington, I know Tumwater. It sounds like something that would be in a Harry Potter movie.
I was gonna say Tumwater. It sounds like
Tumwater.
It sounds like an Amish community up the road in
Ohio,
Michigan,
Pennsylvania. But no, it's like a little bit south of the Olympic Peninsula. You know what that is? Like in the part that juts out to like the left of like Puget Sound. It's a little bit below that.
I think I would have failed whatever geography class that
I love geography.
That particular thing was in.
Yes, the Olympic Peninsula. So as a senior, he was an All-State Football Player of the Year in his class.
Wow.
For 2A is what he actually played in. And then something cool, he played high school football for his own grandfather, who in the state of Washington is the winningest high school football coach in history.
That's incredible.
I played for my dad for 1 year as a head coach and then a couple years as an assistant coach. It's an interesting thing having your dad as the head coach, because then it's like, what do I call him? Do I call him dad? Do I call him coach? Does it depend upon his mood? So imagine it being your grandfather. Like, I'll call my grandfather Pop. I can't imagine
What up, Pop?
I can't imagine my
Give me
grandfather
more
being
bear crawls.
him being the coach and me being like, Pop, and like that doesn't sound
Yeah, it
respectful.
does, especially grandfather, because it's like your grandfather's typical. I mean, if he's the most winningest football coach, he's probably like a super bad A dude.
Oh yeah, this
But
dude's
like,
tough.
I think of my grandfather, like football practice. What do you?
Well, I mean, I've been with you and your grandfather playing golf before, and he's a little bit tough on you.
Yeah, but that's just because he's intimidated by how far I can hit a golf ball. You know what I mean? But we're working on him. You know what I mean?
I'm sure that it is. So during his senior year, he recorded 39 receptions for 733 yards with 13 touchdowns on offense. And then on defense, he had 107 tackles and 3 sacks.
Wait a minute. That's incredible.
Yeah, he was great on both sides of the ball.
Yo, that means I mean, obviously he'll be on the offensive
if he
side
got
of the Bucs.
bored, he could be Jason Pierre-Paul on the other side of the ball.
I mean, yeah, we don't need Pierre-Paul since he wants to run off. And anyway,
Yeah, maybe. We'll see what happens.
we're gonna
with
leave that alone. Well, he was in Baltimore, right?
Yeah, some people
went
are
to
saying some
Baltimore.
different things about the Pierre-Paul
but
Twitter scape.
The thing is he posted on his own Instagram him in the Baltimore Ravens locker room, like with the ceiling there and stuff. And it's like, bro, I don't know what you're trying to do, man. Like you got to be a part of a great organization and team, and you want to go play for like whatever. It's just like like, bro.
I thought you were about to throw shade at Baltimore.
Well, I mean, Baltimore as a city is, the Lord's still working on Baltimore, but
There's great plans for
the
Baltimore. Let's
football
just say that.
organization, but anyway.
Nah, bro, the Ravens are nasty, bro.
Yeah, but bro, nothing's like Tampa, and you get an opportunity to play with on this team
Yes.
with Brady, and like,
We
bro,
agree.
what are you doing, bro? Get your butt back to Tampa.
Yep. So with those great
Anyway.
stats his senior year, he committed to the University of Washington, and then he redshirted his freshman year. And I didn't want to be redundant and go over like every year because, like I said at the beginning, not like mind-blowing, awesome stats. And I think that's why he fell. Again, he didn't have phenomenal quarterbacks, which he does now, by the way.
Yeah.
And then obviously battling injuries. So he redshirted his freshman year, but then he came back in his following season when he first played, and he played in all 14 games, had 10 starts in 2018.
Wow.
I finished that year 13 receptions, 174 yards, and 3 touchdowns. People thought that he was definitely going to go pro for sure, but he decided to come back for the 2021 season instead of going to the draft.
That takes a lot of maturity.
Definitely, and I think especially after because University of Washington, the Huskies were heavily impacted by all of the COVID restrictions. His 2020 season, they only played 4 games as a college, so he could have opted out if he wanted to. He could have
That's
came back and
ridiculous.
not had the eligibility for it, but he decided to come back, and he was like highly anticipated. He was preseason first team All Pac-12, and he was third team preseason All American. That's like. People had high expectations for this dude, and that's why I think that he's a steal, getting him where we did in the 4th round.
In the 4th round is a big, especially because especially him playing both sides of the ball, and then he's got a lot better guy behind the ball now, giving him passes. I mean, I think like
I don't know if he played any defense in college. He definitely could have. He was teammates with Joe Tyron that plays with us.
well, that's what
the
that's
defensive end.
what I'm saying
That's
is
pretty
like
cool.
to have the mentality on both sides is like putting a weapon in your arsenal as an offensive player, because now I know what the guy on the other side of the ball is trying to do, and it just, I don't know, I think it's gonna help, even if he didn't. It helps. It helps your perspective.
Yeah.
And I think to see the humility in him waiting to go to the draft, he knew, another year just to develop in a lot of ways. And even you get mentally and emotionally prepared to go into the league. I mean, going into the draft's a big deal. There's a lot of people that go in the draft and a couple years later they're out of the league and things didn't work out.
And there's always those thoughts of like, what if I don't get drafted? That's kind of embarrassing or whatever.
Sitting there waiting, in your family and, whatever. And
There's
I can't-
always that
man,
guy, and it sucks to watch that
That's
happen.
terrible, man.
I'm sure Cade felt a little bit of that, of him being who he was as a highly touted, anticipated player, not necessarily being able to put up the best stats, but then
Right.
potentially falling from what he definitely could have if he didn't have that ankle injury or whatever.
Yeah,
I
it was
definitely
pretty-
love the Gronk comparison because Gronk played in the Pac-12 as well, coming from the University of Arizona. So being in the same conference, being similar style players, I think is going to be really impactful to the team.
Well, and it may be cool if Gronk decides to leave the beach party and the club to come play football. It's gonna be cool for him to actually learn from Gronk for a season.
Yeah, I mean Gronk definitely at least one of the top 5 tight ends of all time.
Gronk, we're telling you, man, like you not only you have a teaching opportunity here to come back this year, so don't miss it. Don't miss the opportunity to sow some great seed into this next. For
sure. Imagine being able to learn.
June, I can't say that.
Gronk is definitely one of the top 5, if not the top 3 tight ends of all time.
I know. I prefer Witten over Gronk, but
that's because you're from Texas, bro. Whatever. But that being said, imagine being able to learn from one of like the best 5 ever at your position directly and be behind him.
Well, the guy's got like huge potential. Obviously, he won the Guy Flaherty, which is a big deal. I mean, it's like
it's the most inspirational award at the University of Washington. It's for it's their most oldest and prestigious award. It goes to honor he won it at the postseason award banquets, and it's a big deal there. So the fact that he won that, it tells you that he's a guy of character.
Well, exactly, because they're not going to give that to someone that wasn't a good representation of them as an organization. So you got this guy that. I love that. I love seeing these guys come out of college, these guys that you never heard of until you watched a Meet the Boys video, and then you found out who they were, and then you see them out there on the field. I love to see.
Because we don't watch the Pac-12 in Florida.
No,
your games start at like 10:30 at night here.
Yeah, we just don't care, but it's exciting to see, for me, the character and humility and the potential for the kind of what I consider to be like the invaluable, underrated stardom, as far as you have a lot of players that are huge contributors to championships, but they're not getting paid 30, 40, 50 million a year. They're not all over social media wiling out, double fisting at a club. They're just good guys that love to play football. And I feel like this draft has been full of those kind of guys for us, guys that just love the sport, they love to play. And that, in my opinion, is more valuable than any amount of talent that you could go spring up somewhere.
And we even talked about that before the draft, that the Bucs came out and have been saying for a while that, hey, here at Tampa Bay, at One Buccaneer Place, we draft Buccaneers. So they're going after a specific kind of guy, and they know what they're looking for, and they get it. So I think that's incredible. I can't wait to explore more of the guys on Meet the Boys.
Well, right. There's 2 kinds of guys that get drafted. There's like Johnny Manziel's, and then there's Cade Otton's. And we're super excited to have Cade as a part of the team.
I love you,
Florida
Cade.
This year. We love you, man. We're thankful for you. Excited to see what you do this season. Hopefully, good learning opportunity. We'll see if the big boy comes back. But this has been another episode of Meet the Boys, and we'll be bringing these to you until we get through every single player joining our family here in Tampa Bay.
Let us know if you guys want us to cover the free agents that we brought in too, because we're open to that. You tell us in the comments. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time on Meet the Boys.
You can look me in the eye. It's all because of Jesus. He the reason I'm alive. I live by faith, by grace. You know that I ain't gotta strive. They told me, Tony.